Hello, I'm Dr. Harper. This video is a syllabus video, Policies and Procedures for Predictive Analytics, BUSN 6660. So let's bring up the syllabus. So in the Policies and Procedures, I first start with a course description, and this course description is in the catalog. I also have a course description of the prerequisite, BUSN 6660. And notice it says descriptive statistics, data exploration, probability, inferential methods, regression, classification, regression. So I won't really cover these in this because it's a prerequisite, but I will use those. The course design. This course contains reading material, homework assignments, exam, and an individual project report. Course grade is based solely on student performance in the grade measures of homework assignments, exam, and individual project report. And I mentioned this in the part 1 of the video when I talked about the schedule outline. Grades are not negotiated. There's no curves, no extra credit. In calculating course grades, normal rounding conventions are used, and these are the rounding conventions I use. Following common rounding conventions for calculations in this course, especially related to grades, assignments, and exam. What I mean by especially related to grades, assignment, and exam for this course, but also it's very conventional. Never round during calculations, only round presentations. And this is not only true for this course, it's true in practice. Don't use rounded numbers in a calculation when you're working. Always use all of the significant figures. If rounding to the unit digit, then 1.5 is rounded to 2 and 1.4 is rounded to 1. Specifically, a number x with a value between 1.5 inclusive and 2.5 is rounded to 2 if rounding to the unit digit. The homework assignments will be available through Canvas and submitted through Canvas. There will be an exam, and the individual project report will be submitted through Canvas and due by the end of the course. The answers and grades for assignments and the exam will be posted on Canvas. The course grade will be posted on Canvas. The course grade will not be posted on Canvas, but reported to the registrar. These are two very strict policies in this course. No late assignments are accepted, and nothing accepted after the end of the course. No exceptions. Communications are important. Communications consist of one-way and two-way channels for different purposes. One-way communication channels will include different resources I provide in Canvas during the course, such as lecture notes, Excel files, or videos maybe. So different types of resources I will post on Canvas. Two-way communication channels include asynchronous Q&A TD, question and answer threaded discussions between students. And I want to emphasize this, that use this Q&A liberally a lot to learn from each other. Asynchronous Canvas messaging, synchronous virtual office hours with me during Zoom, using Zoom, and synchronous in-person office hours with me on campus. And office hours will be posted on Canvas for the Zoom and also for in-person. Most importantly, each student is responsible to utilize all the resources available in this course for learning and only use private communication channels to support the learning resources. And I mentioned that in the welcome video. I hope everyone watched the welcome video. Do not rely on private communication channels for learning in this course because, again, like I said in the welcome video, the most important thing you learn in higher education is learn how to learn. And you learn how to learn from resources, not just talking to a professor. Okay, communication between students will be through Q&A, question and answer, threaded discussion link in Canvas for each topic. Use the Q&A threaded discussion on Canvas for asking questions, sharing answers about the course material, sharing information about the course, or other collaborations helpful for learning. People in the past have used this to set up study groups, for example. Although collaboration is encouraged throughout the course to learn the material, Each student is required to submit original work. No collaboration is allowed on exam, and only submit original composed individual project report. Communication with me about the course will be through Canvas messaging, primarily between Monday and Wednesday and Friday of each week. Use Canvas messaging for personal communication about the course in general. Also use Canvas messaging to alert me of questions or issues about the course material not resolved in the Q&A between students. I will not answer questions about the course material in Canvas messaging. However, if a question about the course material is posted to me in Canvas messaging, or an alert to a need in Q&A, I will copy the question and respond to the question in the Q&A for all students to benefit from my answer. In other words, sometimes it is necessary to communicate with me through Canvas messaging. And if it's about the material, I'll take that, put it in the Q&A, and answer it there so everyone can hear. Everyone can benefit. Since email has been unreliable in the past, use email only when necessary. And notice Canvas messaging, Q&A, all that, and also office hours, I've avoided email because email is very unreliable. And the reason is because I'm Michael Harper, and there's more than one Michael Harper at UCD, and sometimes my link, someone emails me and that goes to another Michael Harper. Sometimes my email URLs is Michael Harper, it's Mike.Harper. It used to be Michael.Harper. It used to be Mike.D.Harper, Michael.D.Harper. Well, that might be someone else at the university. So it's pretty unreliable. Another reason is sometimes it goes to junk mail. Sometimes I never see it. Or sometimes it gets embedded and I don't see it. So therefore, do not rely on email as primary communications. Should communication by email be necessary, and sometimes it is necessary, use email, this email address, and include BANA 6660 in the subject area to be considered. Otherwise, I may not even receive the email or even see it. Collaboration is the responsibility of each student. Lack of collaboration does not eliminate a student's responsibility to submit assignments when due. If a tutor is used, or as you use each other, which is the responsibility of the student, be careful to use a tutor appropriately. Now, I say tutor here. This tutor is a very broad term. It could be other students. It could be a person you pay. It could be someone that has had the course before. Use all those resources. Use them appropriately. What I mean by appropriately is use them to learn the material. Don't use them to do the work for you and submit answers, because that's not learning. Okay. Submission of homework assignments. Homework assignments will be assigned and graded. Homework assignments will be available on Canvas and submitted through Canvas. No late assignments are accepted, and there it is again. Answers to assignments will be posted on Canvas after the due date. Okay, this paragraph is important. I won't read it. You can read it, but I'll tell you what it says. It says, first of all, homework assignments will be posted on Canvas at appropriate times. You download the homework assignment, which is the Word file. You answer all the questions. You get all the answers offline. And once you have all the answers, only then do you open the link to submit it on Canvas. Because once you open that link, you have 60 minutes to submit it. That's more than enough time. When you have all the answers, you need 3 or 4 or 5 minutes is all. You submit them all at one time, and you only get one chance to submit. You submit everything as a complete assignment. You can't submit it partially. And make sure you submit it on time before the due date and time. Because the due date and time is strictly enforced, Canvas will enforce that apart from the 60 minutes. For example, they're due at 11:59 p.m. If you open at 11:58, you have 1 minute to submit everything. You don't get the 60 minutes because at 11:59 p.m. it will submit everything, whether you're done or not. And that's your submission. So be very, very careful to submit early and submit it before the due date and time. But if you open it, you're not ready to submit it, you leave it open after 60 minutes, it will submit for you even if everything is zero, even if there's no answers. Then you get a 0. So be very, very careful on submission of homework assignments. And so read this very carefully. Also, follow common rounding conventions for the calculations in the course. Again, never round during calculations. This applies to all of the work in here as well. And there may be quantitative work. We'll be using software. So for software, use all the significant figures. Don't use a rounded number. And it's very easy. You just copy the numbers and all the significant figures in the numbers. Don't use rounded numbers. Any grading errors on assignment should be resolved as soon as possible. No corrections to grading material will be made after the end of the course. Collaboration is encouraged to aid in learning material, but not required. And it's encouraged because what I mean by collaboration is encouraged is that learn how to learn and learn through collaboration. And you learn the material that way. Although collaboration is encouraged, students are expected to perform their own work. Examinations are given in the course will be designed for evaluation. And what I mean by these 3 words, designed for evaluation, the homework is where you learn. The lectures are where you learn, and their material or resources are where you learn. And then the homework is to application is learning. But the exams are for evaluation. Evaluate what you know. In other words, on these exams, I'll be very careful to try to ask you what you should know. I don't use exams for learning. I don't want to ask you what you don't know. I want to ask you what you do know. An exam study guide will be available to prepare for the exam. And usually I tell you exactly what to study, what types of questions, where the material is. Exams may be taken only once. Exam will be multiple choice, open book, open notes, and timed. And notice the open notes will be the exam study guide as well. So therefore, a lot of the exam is understanding the question, understanding the answers, because it's multiple choice, and then understanding where the resources are to answer that correctly. And so that's the process of evaluation. No, and actually that's what you would do in business as well. No collaboration is allowed. Collaboration is cheating. No communication devices such as phones or laptops are allowed. Now, you can use your laptops if it's only for the material in the course. What I mean by no laptops and communication devices. No sharing of material or equipment is allowed. If academic dishonesty occurs on an exam, the student will receive a 0 for the exam. Any incident of academic dishonesty may be reported to the business school at the University of Colorado Denver for further action. Projects. Each student is required to conduct independent research on a topic based on material related to the course and submit an individual project report. Well, the originally composed individual project report shall demonstrate the student's knowledge of research and an ability to effectively communicate the knowledge appropriate to a business professional. There's a couple of things in this sentence. First of all, originally composed. No one writes this for you. You write this yourself. You can learn from other people. You can discuss. You can have collaboration. But you write it yourself. You write from your knowledge and your understanding. The second thing is appropriate to a business professional. This is not, it's an academic paper, but it's not to an academic audience. It's to a business professional audience. It's a business audience. And so you write it as a business professional. And we'll talk about it during the course. Each individual project report must be unique, and that's why it's originally composed. The length of the individual project report should be more than 2 pages and follow the guideline of succinct but adequate. Again, this is a business course. It's a business topic. Succinctness is extremely important in business, but it has to be long enough to be adequate in business. In other words, it's a business report. It's a business research. In other words, be succinct to say just what needs to be said. Don't go on and on and on as sometimes people do in academia. But no, this is business succinct, but adequate enough to address what you want to address. The length must be enough to adequately present your work. Length will be considered negative if too long, and content is not significant. Submit the completed individual project report only through Canvas as a PDF file on or before the due date and time. Each individual project report may only be submitted once, may only be submitted as a complete report and submitted by the due date and time. Nothing is accepted after the end of the course. So be very careful of that. An individual project report not submitted has a grade of 0. No late reports are accepted. And each student is required to submit original material for their individual project report. Guidelines. 1. A topic related to the course. So a topic related to this course, predictive analytics. Not something else in business, but predictive analytics. A topic beyond the course that was not specifically covered in the course, such as going deeper than the level of rigor in the course or going broader than the technique in the course. And notice when I say going deeper, I may have covered it shallowly, but I didn't go deeper. And so that's certainly fair game. But what I do not want here is take something that I do in my lecture and then repeat it. That's not research. So learn going deeper and broader. 3, an appropriate case study. This material is very, very applied, very practical, and maybe you have a case study to apply it to, which is perfectly fine. And so sometimes it's a case study you do yourself. Sometimes it's a case study that you evaluate someone else, what someone else has done. Maybe a case study of a company that you work for or you're working in, okay, or you work with. 4, and most importantly, a topic of interest to you. And I want to emphasize this more than the other 3. Something you're interested in. Do something they're really interested in to go in and go deeper. Because if you're interested in it, then you will research it out. Then you will go deeper. You will go broader. And so sometimes when you get interested in it, sometimes it's, where do I stop? And that's what I want on these projects. Use this as an opportunity to learn something beyond this course. And then give a report and get some credit for it. Okay, submit your individual project report through Canvas as a PDF file. Do not use a cover page, but use the title below as the first page where the student supplies the information in italics. In other words, you have your own title. You have your title there. Then you say this line, individual project report submitted as a partial fulfillment of requirements, this line for predictive analytics course in the business school, and this line at the University of Colorado, Denver. And you put your name, the date, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 lines, and then after those 6 lines, then you start your report. And so that's the format. General information. Assignments consist of homework assignments and a project. All assignments are submitted through Canvas. However, only under special circumstances, assignments submitted by other channels of communication will be accepted if accompanied by a justifiable date time stamp. A justifiable date time stamp. In other words, no late assignments are accepted. And notice all the way through, everything is submitted through Canvas. But sometimes, for example, say Canvas goes down or something happens and it doesn't get submitted, or something hangs up, or your computer hung up or something. Well, you can submit it by other channels. For example, email. If you email me your assignment by the due date and time, and I don't see it, for some reason it doesn't get submitted through Canvas, it's blank. But if I see it on, let's say, email or Canvas messaging or something, and there it is, by the due date and time, I will accept it. So here's an example of changing the policy of submission through Canvas as a PDF in Canvas. Okay, and so there's a little bit of variability here, but some rules are strict, no late assignments. So even within this special circumstances, it is still has to be done on time. Late assignments are not accepted. That's strict. Each assignment not received has a grade of 0, and grades will be posted during the course. Final course grades are submitted through the registrar and not on Canvas. And no corrections to the grade will be considered after the end of the course. Nothing is considered after the end of the course. I say that again and again and again. No late assignments. Nothing is accepted after the end of the course. Academic dishonesty. In the event academic dishonesty occurs on an assignment or exam, the work will receive a grade of 0. Any incident of academic dishonesty may be reported to the business school and the University of Colorado Denver for further action. Conduct. Strict adherence to the code of conduct is required, not only for my course, but at UCD and at CU. This link is to the code of conduct for students, faculty, staff, visitors, guests, everybody. Okay. University procedures and policies, human resources policies. This link, there's quite a few of them. So if you are worried, if you wonder about some of them, that's the link to the human resources. FERPA. I will follow FERPA in here. Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. It's required by law to follow. I will follow it. Part of FERPA is I will not release any information to anyone but you or people within the university that have a right to know and need to know that has been established. And so I am very strict with that. I will not tell people what you've done. Okay. Or personal information. Any current or potential indications of violence, a violation of verbal or physical disruption or intimidation, anything. Now, this is not necessarily, this is anything. Violations of intimidation, disruption at the university has a care team. Now, the care team is an assessment team. They come in and they come in and assess things. Assess a person, a situation, or anything. Okay, so the care team is something for us to use if there's something that seems a little bit not right. That's not exactly something bad, but it could be. Okay. On the other hand, any incident of violent or disruptive behavior can be reported to an Internal Affairs Committee of the business school or the business school or UCD for further action. Now, it can be reported by me, by you, by anyone. Conduct also includes etiquette that is respectful to all people, all the facilities, and the institution itself. Commitment expectations. Taking this course represents your commitment to perform the work when due. Faculty policies have stated that classes in the business school should require of the students' workload in and out of class, or that are assigned, that are done on your own, being out of class, that enhances quality education is consistent with the amount of academic credit granted for the course. And this course requires work due on a regular basis. This is a disclosure. Some people say I didn't know I have to do that much work. This is a work that I have designed to be commensurate with the amount of credit hours for the course. No incomplete grades are given. And statement. This is my last statement. Policies in this syllabus apply to each student equally. I will consider special circumstances, but standards will not be compromised, and all work must be completed during the course, by the end of the course. Any action taken by me that might be taken as varying from these policies, and I've mentioned like email if it's necessary, if it's by the due date and time, shall not be a cause to eliminate a student's responsibility or adhere to all the requirements of the course or prevent my action in enforcing the policies in the course to every student. And in the past, I've had students say, well, you did that, so therefore none of this applies. Yes, it does. It still applies. In other words, I'm not going to submit it anymore. Okay, so that's my statement. And the idea here, in general, is that this syllabus applies to every student equally. And I might vary it a little bit, but I'll never lower standards. This ends my syllabus. Now, faculty have been required to include the following information in their syllabus. And rather than trying to pull it out and rephrase it, I include the wording provided to faculty for your information. This is what we were given. A lot of it I've covered. Some of it I haven't. Again, code of conduct is important, and but they go much deeper. Plagiarism, cheating, fabrication, falsification, misuse of academic materials. Simply, that's not why we're here. We're not here to cheat. We're here to learn. Next, disability access. I didn't cover this. This is important. I mentioned resources. This is another resource. A resource of Disability Resources and Services, DRS. If you need them, use them. Use these resources to learn. Use all the resources available to you to learn if you need it. Non-discrimination. There's no place for this in academia. Non-discrimination, sexual misconduct, especially with Title IX. Prohibit any discrimination on the basis of race, color, national origin, on and on and on. So here's the link to Title IX. I will be very strict with that. There's no place for that here. A statement on pronouns and preferred names. In an effort to create an inclusive space both in and outside the classroom, I welcome students to please share their preferred names or their pronouns with me, either in class, in office hours, or via email correspondence or anything. If I use the wrong name, correct me. It's not on purpose. It's out of ignorance. Let me know what you want. And even if I make a mistake and use the wrong name, correct me. Tell me what you want. I respect the pronouns, preferred names that you want. I respect that, and I will do my best. Again, if I make a mistake, correct me, and I will do my best to use the right pronouns or preferred names. Diversity and inclusion. This is from Dr. Brenda Allen. She's great, a great resource here. She does a lot of good work, and I understand what she's saying here. And I approve and support the concept. I would say it differently. She says, you belong here as do your classmates. You belong here if you had great teachers. You belong here if your school or society marginalizes you or your community. You belong here if you are, and she goes through religion. She goes through different types of minorities. You don't belong here just because you're a minority. I wouldn't say it that way. You belong here if you want to learn, and these things here should not prevent you from learning. That's how I would say it. And that's how I see it. If you're here to learn, that's what I see. That's what I focus on, and I will teach you, regardless of your religion, your race, your color, your creed, your whatever these things are. That's not going to interfere with me teaching you. If you're here to learn, that's what's important to me. I will teach you. Okay, student and the counseling center. Again, I didn't mention this, but this is extremely important. Counseling center. If you need counseling, again, it's a resource. Use it. About a year ago, a couple of years ago, I had a student come in who was really having trouble with PTSD. Just got back from Afghanistan, from combat, and there's people there that can help you. If you need help, there are people who can help you because those are resources to help you learn. You're here to learn, and we want you to learn. We want to support you and help you to learn as much as possible. So use the counseling center if it's needed. And here's the CARE team again. I already have the link in my syllabus here. Use that as well. Land acknowledgement. This is by Gracie Redshart Tyon, the Director of American Indian Student Services. And again, I understand what she's saying here, and I support it. I agree. But I would go a little bit deeper, I would say it a little bit differently. And that is, acknowledge that we reside in the homelands of indigenous people and recognizing their history and as the original students of these lands. I would go a little bit deeper, and when you read this, it's very good. But there's many, many different types of tribes of indigenous people and Native Americans. One thing about a Native Americans that I can tell you, that we are accepting. We're accepting of different tribes, different concepts, but we would. It's more about respect of different cultures, the respect of different thought processes, and also don't undermine anyone's thought process. Recognize it, learn from it. And that's the Native American way. So we look at all of that, okay? And so it's more about respect with other peoples, respect for cultures, and respect for they find valuable and sacred. Important dates to remember. Here, again, this is a calendar for important dates. There's a lot of them. I'm not going to go through all of them in my syllabus, but here's the link, which is good. And so make sure you make yourself aware of all the links. It's a student's responsibility. So this is the syllabus, policies and procedures for BANA 6660, Predictive Analytics. And so refer to this often and refer to the syllabus often as the policies and procedures for this course. So that's it. I hope this helps. Before the next time I see you, I want to urge everyone to take care.